Okay, welcome back to part three of the Study With Me series for the RD exam. Once again, if you haven't watched the other videos, feel free to check out the playlist on my channel. But these videos are just basically a way of me forcing myself to review my exam notes. So this won't have everything in domain one, but it'll have a good majority of the things that I felt that I needed to review. So hopefully this also helps anyone out there that's also studying for the RD exam. All right, so let's start from the beginning. So pregnancy and lactation. Nutrients of concern: folate, calcium, vitamin D, protein, iron, choline or choline, iodine. Breast milk is actually lower in protein, higher in carb and fat compared to cow's milk, and that's just because that's what the baby needs. Just some general pregnancy weight gain recommendations for the first trimester. It should be around 1 to 4.5 pounds total. The second to third trimester should be around 1 to 2 pounds per week. And a major fuel source for the mother is stored fat. The fetus's primary fuel is glucose. All right, so this is the normal weight gain per BMI. This is the ideal. Obviously, and this is something that I learned during my internship in high school at WIC, is that you're not going to shame the mother for gaining more than this range, because you could always work with them to lose the weight afterwards, but this is the ideal range. Now, for normal weight, 25 to 35 pounds, underweight, 28 to 40 pounds, overweight, 15 to 25 pounds, and obese is 11 to 20 pounds. And obviously, you want to try to achieve the lower limit. And now for energy needs. The first trimester, nothing really changes, but the second trimester, it's increased to 340 to 360 kcals per day. The third trimester, you want to increase it by another 112 calories per day. And the production of milk actually requires 85 kcals per 100 ml. So just basically measure the amount of production to see how much energy you're using up. Um, and the DRI for the first 6 months of lactation is an additional 330 kcals per day. And DRI for the second 6 months of lactation is additional. Oop, that's a lot. It's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be 40. I don't think it's supposed to be that much. Um, Obese and overweight women only need around 100 to 150 kcals. Whoopsies! All right. For protein needs, it's essential for the baby's growth. The first half is zero point 0.8 grams per kilogram per day. Second half is 1.1 grams per kilogram per day of pre-pregnancy weight. That's the important part, is the pre-pregnancy weight you want to be using for this. And then for each additional fetus, 25 grams of protein recommended, and lactation is additional 25 grams per protein per day. Carbohydrate needs, uh, EAR is 135 grams per day, and the RDA is 175 grams per day. This range meant to provide enough calories to prevent ketosis and maintain proper blood glucose levels. And then the RDA during lactation is 28 grams per day. Other things to be aware of during pregnancy or lactation. For fat, there's no DRI for pregnancy or lactation. Then if you want to go into the nitty-gritty for fat, you got the omega 6s. You have an AI of 13 grams per day for pregnancy and lactation. And then for omega 3s, you got 14 grams per day. And then pregnancy, the AI is 1.3. Sorry. 14 grams per day for pregnancy. AI is 1.3 for lactation. Okay, next, fiber. DRI is 28 grams per day. A lot of pregnant people, they tend to deal with constipation, so it really is important to try to maintain adequate intakes of fiber. Folate, for non-pregnant people is 4,000 micrograms per day. Pregnant is 600. 4,000? No, it should be 400. Oh my God, I'm going crazy over here. 400 for non-pregnant, 600 for pregnant, and lactation is 500. And folate is really important because you don't want to have those neural tube defects. Next, this is supposed to be calcium, not Canada. Um, Pregnant and lactation is 1,000 milligrams per day. Pregnant teens is 1,300 milligrams per day because those babies are still growing. Vitamin D, pregnant and lactating, 600 IUs per day. Choline, 450 micrograms per day. Um, Lactation, 550 micrograms per day. And iodine, pregnant and lactation have a little bit of variety, with lactation requiring more. The baby. All right. 0 to 12 months. Nutrients of concern are vitamin D and iron. Daily vitamin D supplementation recommended for exclusively breastfed infant. Um, Exclusive breastfeeding is recommended for the first 6 months. Then you can start adding those finger foods. Catch-up growth means that infants born at or below the 10% tile for length may not reach genetic growth pattern until 1. Lag down growth, infants larger at birth are genetically determined to be smaller, grow at slower rate, and reach appropriate growth around 13 months. All right, now energy and protein. Formula should provide 20 kcals per ounce for normal weight gain. Infants need about 40 to 55 kcals per pound of body weight per day. Protein. Histidine is considered essential for infants. Tyrosine, cysteine, and taurine may be essential amino acids for premature infants. And then the first 6 months, breast milk is accurate and it provides the adequate amount. It's not supposed to say accurate, it's supposed to say adequate. And then for the 6 months to 12 months, it should be supplemented with protein-rich foods. Fats, infants younger than 12 months should consume a minimum of 30 grams per day. Carbs, 30 to 60% of total daily energy. Under 6 months, no water. All right, so this is the feeding schedule for for babies. So, pretty frequent, and that's why new parents are always so tired. Now I got Miss Rachel here because we're going to talk about toddlerhood and then childhood. I think you grow out of Miss Rachel pretty quick in this age range, but I just wanted to include her. Shout out Miss Rachel. Okay. All right, so this age range is approximately 12 months to 12 years. Nutrients of concern is iron, calcium, and vitamin D. Growth spurts start earlier for girls than boys. Now let's get started on the energy. Determined by basal metabolism, rate of growth, energy expenditure for children 1 to 3 years. The range is a little different compared to children 4 to 18 years. As you can see, carbohydrates don't really change, but fat and protein do vary. It looks like you need, I guess, a little bit more protein as you get older. But the Institute of Medicine recommends children 1 to 2 years need approximately 992 to 1046 kcals per day. And children 3 to 8 years need about 1642 to 1742 kcals per day. Because these children are growing and they need the energy to do so. Protein needs decrease from 1.1 grams per kilogram in early childhood to 5 grams per kilogram in late childhood. Intakes range from 5 to 30% of total energy intake depending on the age. Overweight, BMI. Children use percentiles to measure growth, so 85th to 95th percentiles is considered overweight. Obese, BMI higher than 95th. Ooh, for the teenage years. I think that's Mitchell Musso's brother in this. I'm not sure, but he looks so familiar in that picture. It was just a random stock image, but he looks so familiar. All right, so for the teenage years, 13 to 17 years old, nutrients of concern, calcium, iron, and vitamin D. Bro Growth spurts continue. Um, this one was pretty interesting, just comparing like the 9-year-old children compared to the 18-year-old children. You can really see the difference in like just how I guess you can always see that males tend to have a higher recommended range, but I I didn't realize like that each year the calories increase by that range. Like it's like a I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting to see it. All right. Now protein. Requirements vary with degree of physical maturation. DRI estimated for adequate growth, insufficient amount may end up stunting the height and weight. So these are the RDAs. All right, now athletes and exercise. I feel like this is probably really important because I think with our current culture online, I think there's a lot of like misinformation out there for nutrition, especially athletes. I feel like it's really easy to fall down that rabbit hole. So it's really important that we really understand it as nutrition professionals. So needs. As intensity increases, use and demand for carbs increases. Moderate to lower intensity uses a higher percentage of fat and less demand by carbs. Energy for overall fitness is 25 to 35 kcals per gram per day. Exercising 2 to 3 hours per day, 5 to 6 hours per day, 50 to 80 kcals per kilogram. And elite athletes, so like the Olympics, up to 100 to 200 kcals per kilogram per day. Now we got the carbs. Muscle glycogen is the first source of glucose during exercise. After 90-minute glycogen stores become progressively lower, you should be mixing up with complex and simple depending on the timing of the consumption. And fiber should be limited to avoid GI distress. And these are the daily recs. Oops, I forgot to hit next, but that's what I just said. All right. So I guess something that's really important is the timeline for these things. So before exercise, you don't really need carb for anything that's lasting less than 60 minutes. But when it's longer, you need 25 to 30 grams of easily digestible carbs every 30 minutes. And then afterwards, you want to restore that glycogen. Protein. This I feel like everybody is on like a protein kick nowadays. And I think it's really important to emphasize that you should be having a well-balanced diet full of protein. Like you don't need, I mean, just looking at the daily recs, you don't need as much as people are taking, I believe. And like I feel like everyone is really hung up on this new like protein maxing, like trying to increase their protein intake. But I feel like the average person, even the average gym goer, they probably don't need as much as they're taking. Because if you don't use it all, you'll pee it out or you'll store it as fat. So I digress. Let's talk about the timeline. So it should be included in the last major meal prior to exercise. Minimal should be taken within the hour. During exercise, you don't need it. And it's most important to get 15, 20 grams ASAP. No Rocky. Next is fat. It's a concentrated source of energy, not course of energy. High percent is utilized in low to moderate intensity exercise activities, so very convenient. Um, Long duration exercises relies heavily on stored fat for energy, and high fat diets should not be considered for high intensity exercise. So that is for everyone out there that all the gym bros that are trying to go on keto to lose all that weight. You might be um, messing up your game there if you're on if you're trying to get into ketosis or whatever, um, and doing all those strength exercises, trying to lift, not good. All right, now this is the timeline. You don't really need it. Basically, um, you don't need to go out of your way to have fat when you think about exercise. Other important info. I don't know why this lady's so happy, but this was the first stock image I found, and I just thought it was funny because she was so happy. Um, but you really need to start worrying about Gatorade or other sports electrolyte drinks if you're going at it for longer than 90 minutes. If you're not, you don't really need it. And yeah, that's all I have for life cycle. Interestingly enough, I didn't add older adult in here. And that's because I am really interested in the older adult population. So a lot of the stuff that was in the review materials that I had, I already know because it's like a special interest of mine, and therefore, I think I'm able to retain it better. But let me know in the comments if you would like for me to review the older adult population, and I will do so. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you like this video, and see ya!